I'm Howard Webb, the Executive Director of the Shigeru Nakamura Ryukyu Martial Arts Institute. This presentation is the third part of the history of the Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo system. In part one, I explained our history, starting with the 7th century and finishing with the end of World War II. In part two, I explained Okinawa Kenpo history during the Vietnam era. And in the third and final part of the series, I will explain the American evolution of Okinawa Kenpo from its first arrival to the present. In part two, I explained Sensei Odo's 13-month Shodan policy, which was implemented to promote Okinawa Kenpo to the Western world. The problem with this "they will grow into the rank" policy is that the freshly minted American Shodans, Nidans, and Sandans departed Okinawa believing they were karate experts, not 13 to 36-month karate students. Many never grew into their rank, but instead became self-anointed masters and/or sport karate tournament champions. Those who were promoted into this policy often excuse the bestowment of Shodan and higher rank to the lesser tenured with the rationalization that at the time the belt ranking system was new to Okinawan karate. So the masters didn't really understand how rank should be awarded. This is an insult to Okinawan karate masters. They were not naive children. They knew exactly what they were doing and why they were doing it. What started out to be a noble strategy for promoting Okinawan karate to the Western world became corrupt. The sad truth is that rank awarded to American students and senseis was a lucrative commercial venture for some Okinawan karate masters. The karate masters who participated in this practice knowingly did so because to them, karate is, and always will be, Okinawan. So a diluted American version of their martial art is of no consequence to them. When I discussed this situation with my teacher, Sensei Flores, he said, "Okinawan sensei are only human. They are not perfect." And of course this is true. But unfortunately, this double standard rank system has had a negative impact on Okinawan Kenpo in the United States in 3 ways. First, the dual standard rank system diminishes rank earned by a legitimate sensei, like my sensei who, for over 5 years, was Sensei Odo's only ever resident student and was promoted to 10th Dan by Grandmaster Takedo Nakamura using the Okinawan promotion standard. When Grandmaster Nakamura was asked during an interview what he thought of Okinawan Kenpo that was being taught in the United States, he replied, "I don't know. I've never been there. Ask Sensei Flores." Second, the dual standard promotional system degrades the quality of Okinawan Kenpo taught in the United States. A sensei can't teach what he or she does not know. In traditional Okinawan Kenpo karate, a student must study for a very long time, even decades, to earn the privilege to learn the comprehensive martial arts system. Even then, only 1 or 2 in a generation are taught the complete combat system. To compensate for their lack of privileged knowledge, American sensei often go to Okinawa for a week and trained with Sensei Odo. Or they brought Sensei Odo over to the US for a week or 2. They had their pictures taken with Sensei Odo and learned the moves to a different kata. Then they gave Sensei Odo a certificate or plaque at a banquet held in his honor, provided him with a monetary gift, and sent him back to Okinawa or to another dojo where the process is repeated. Afterward, the instructors imparted to their students what they had learned, which was just a reordering of the same blocks and kicks and punches and strikes in a kata with a different name. Then, because they were never taught or learned our historical fighting system, the sensei would fabricate their own applications based on their vast life and death light contact tournament fighting experiences. Furthermore, they would demonstrate their newly created applications on a compliant student who executed a single technique and froze in that position, so the sensei could demonstrate the flowing transition of one technique to another while pontificating on how the technique worked in a real-world physical altercation, of which they had never experienced. And of course, they would video record these unproven applications and post them on YouTube. Lastly, the double standard promotion system is self-perpetuating. American sensei used the same standard by which they were promoted to promote their students. For most American sensei, the understanding of Okinawan Kenpo does not go beyond etiquette, terminology, moves of the kata, and self-fabricated bunkai. Because American sensei were never taught our system of fighting, they create their own theoretical interpretation of our kata. A theory is an unproven guess. To make the situation even more problematic for Okinawa Kenpo in the United States, this process of personal interpretation is passed on to their students, who in turn make stuff up, and then pass that on to their students, who make stuff up. And so the watering down of Okinawa Kenpo is passed on to generation after generation, distancing itself further and further from Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo until it is only Okinawa Kenpo in name only. I know some of you are offended by my bleak assessment of Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo in the United States. For many of you, it's not your fault. A student only knows what he or she is taught by the sensei. However, you can't rectify your misguided understanding of Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo. If you're unaware, there's a problem. For an example, there's a YouTube video tying the Okinawa Kenpo belt. The demonstrator ties the belt starting on the wrong side of the body. Is this nitpicky? Yeah, but it's still wrong. Just as important, you can't improve your knowledge and skill of Okinawa Kenpo if there is no legitimate resource for improvement. The Nakamura Rukyo Martial Arts Institute was created as a solution to that problem. In the early 1970s, Sensei Odo, with the remaining loyal senior Okinawa Sensei, created the Okinawa Kenpo Karate Kobudo Association with Odo as chairman of the board and Seijiro Maihara as president. The association was formed with Grandmaster Nakamura's approval. In 1976, Sensei Odo conducted the first of several seminars in the United States. He asked Sensei Flores to accompany him on the tour. Because of his Marine Corps commitments, he was unable to accompany Sensei Odo on that tour. However, Sensei Flores helped Sensei Odo prepare for the trip by tutoring him in the basics of the English language. In 1981, just before he was transferred back to the United States, Sensei Flores was appointed to the presidency of the Okinawa Kenpo Karate Kobudo Association by the Okinawan Board of Examiners. With this appointment, Sensei Odo transferred all organizational and promotional responsibilities to Sensei Flores. The OKKA exists today in the United States under the authority of the Nakamura family, with Sensei Flores as its president. In 1994, another Odo affiliate organization was started in the United States, the Okinawa Kenpo Karate Kobudo Federation. It had no affiliation with Grandmaster Nakamura. I became aware of the OKKF when I received a recruitment flyer. It stated that regardless of the style of karate that I taught or practiced, I could convert to Okinawa Kenpo via video. The foundation would send me videos of our kata. My students and I could learn the kata, then provide the federation with a copy of me performing the kata, and I would receive a commensurate black belt rank. At first I thought it was a prank, so I called Sensei Flores. Although he was not very supportive of the federation, he confirmed that it was a real organization. The flyer reminded me of a late-night infomercial. Do you have artistic talent? Would you like to make a living as a commercial artist? For only 3 easy payments of $59.95 plus shipping, you will receive our home study program. Since I was never a member of this organization, I must rely on the information published about this group. According to the Tales of the Western Generation, written by Matthew Apso-Cardew, the creators of this new organization had started their karate training at a dojo that purported to teach Okinawa Kenpo but didn't. They left their fake Okinawa Kenpo dojo and joined the United States Karate Association. They trained with Robert Trias for about a decade, while still calling their style of karate Okinawa Kenpo. Trias had himself created his own karate system. It was not until they took a USKA-sponsored martial arts tour of Japan and Okinawa that they met Sensei Odo. Afterward, they brought Sensei Odo to the US for training seminars and received his endorsement for their organization. At some point, the OKKF started to have internal problems that resulted in its dissolution. According to an interview with one of the OKKF founders, Sensei Odo did not follow the structure or the promotional guidelines that the OKKF had established. I find that statement unbelievably delusional, okay, and I'll tell you why. This is, well, first of all, it's arrogance. I mean, it is arrogance beyond belief that a bunch of Americans would establish standards and expect the chief instructor of the Nakamura family martial art to follow it. Okay, back on track. This fact is evidence that Sensei Odo was only a figurehead to provide credibility for the organization and its members. Apparently the OKKF didn't get the memo. As the chief instructor of the Nakamura family's Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo system, Sensei Odo could do whatever he wanted to do, without question or penalty. Another issue the OKKF founder had with Odo was, quote, when seeing Western money, many instructors chose a profitable course of action, selling rank to individuals who didn't necessarily earn it. He continues, Odo Sensei fell into this trap at times. And he continues further, ethically I chose not to endorse this behavior. That was my choice to make, just as Odo Sensei had his choices to make. I disagree with Sensei Odo's lesser promotional standards for American sensei as well. However, based on the evidence, it seems that the OKKF founders were benefactors of Odo's relaxed promotional policy. They had never trained with Sensei Odo as Sensei Flores had, training for years as a residential student in Odo's dojo. Further, it appears they never learned the Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo karate fighting system. They just learned the movements of our kata without tactical understanding. To quote the founder, I tell people that I learned my technical understanding from Triya Sensei and my kata from Odo Sensei. It makes my point. In 1991, the founders of the defunct OKKF started a new martial arts organization, the International Karate and Kobudo Federation. According to the information available, it appears to have been created in the image of Robert Trias's multi-karate style United States Karate Association. It is believed in some American Okinawa Kenpo dojos that in 1997, Sensei Odo dissolved the Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo Association and founded the Arukyu Han Kenpo Kubujutsu Federation. It is true that Odo started this organization with 19 of his American students, and it was overseen by him until his death on March 24, 2002. However, Sensei Odo did not deactivate the Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo Association. He terminated his relationship with it. Odo could not abolish the association without the Okinawan board members and Grandmaster Nakamura's approval. Politics as they are, Sensei Flores, as the OKKA president, chose not to affiliate with Odo's new federation. Sensei Flores' non-affiliation brought the federation, Sensei Odo's new federation, to clarify that, legitimacy and Odo's judgment into question by the Japanese prefecture government. Currently, the Rukyo Han Kenpo Kobujutsu Federation is symbolically operated as a rank certificate mill by the Odo family as a source of income. It is not recognized by the Nakamura family or the Okinawan prefecture government. Throughout these times of organizational turmoil, Grandmaster Kitido Nakamura maintained his own Okinawan organization, the Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo Rimi, headquartered at his dojo. Grandmaster Nakamura recognizes Sensei Flores as the president of the Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo Association. Consequently, he appointed Sensei Flores as his organizational representative outside of Okinawa. In an interview with Grandmaster Nakamura, he was asked, how many other Okinawan Kenpo schools are there in the United States? He replied, none. Sensei Flores has the only schools in the USA that follows Shigeru Nakamura's way. That authoritative and definitive statement says it all regarding the status of Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo in the United States. I'd like to conclude the history of Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo with a discussion of our most influential and controversial Okinawan Kenpo master to visit the United States, Sensei Sekichi Odo. Sensei Odo was an exceptional martial artist. He contributed greatly to our system. It is believed in some American Okinawan Kenpo dojos that Sensei Odo was the Grand Master of Okinawan Kenpo, that he founded his own style of karate, and he was awarded his 10th dan. This is the subject of much debate and misinformation. Sensei Odo was denied his promotion to 10th dan by the Japanese and Okinawan prefecture governments for misrepresenting himself as the Grand Master of Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo. By Okinawan tradition, the position and title of Grand Master can only be obtained through hereditary succession. I never heard Sensei Odo claim that he was the Grand Master. I don't believe he ever did. However, unfortunately for Sensei Odo, on American-produced training videos and the websites of the dojos he visited, he is listed as Okinawa Kenpo Grandmaster Tsukichi Odo. Further, on some of those websites, he is reported to have created his own style of karate and Kobudo. This is untrue as well. Until his death, he only taught Okinawa Kenpo karate as required by Shijiru Nakamura. Unfortunately, these pronouncements were brought to the attention of Grandmaster Nakamura and the Japanese and Okinawan governments. Consequently, he was penalized for the misrepresentation and his questionable organizational activities. Sensei Odo did receive a 10th dan from his good friend Kise, a 9th dan in Okinawa Kenpo. In an attempt to legitimize this promotion, Sensei Odo received a 10th dan recognition certificate from the Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo Federation. Not the association, it was the now defunct federation. However, these promotions were not recognized by the Okinawan government or Grandmaster Nakamura. When Grandmaster Nakamura was asked about these activities, his answer, it's BS. Sensei Odo was the most capable, knowledgeable, and skilled karateka that trained in the latter years of Grandmaster Shiro Nakamura's dojo. However, he did not possess the educational level or the organizational and political skills of his teacher. Further, he had other challenges. Sensei Odo spoke almost no English. He had no understanding of the American culture outside of the Marine Corps. He was sending Marines who trained for a short period of time to the U.S. to act as independent instructors and ambassadors for the Nakamura family's martial art. And he lived in Okinawa. How could anyone under those circumstances successfully organize, oversee, expand, and maintain quality control of a martial art, much less a martial arts organization? The only resources Sensei Odo had to promote Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo in the United States were his former Marine Corps students and other American sensei who offered their support and assistance. Because of his limited understanding of the American culture and the English language, Sensei Odo had no choice but to trust those who offered him assistance. These cultural and language barriers, of course, created opportunities for self-serving American karate instructors to manipulate and exploit him. Sensei Odo was wined and dined by these instructors, who promised they would promote Grandmaster Nakamura's martial art if he would only provide them with belt rank and endorse their dojos and or their American karate organizations. Ironically, many of these sensei had never formally trained in Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo. These individuals would bring Sensei Odo to the U.S. for short stays and seminars to learn our kata. Afterward, they would claim that they were direct students of Sensei Odo and taught Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo, when in reality, they continued to teach their Americanized form of karate, spar with light contact, and perform our kata with little or no understanding of it. One instructor actually copyrighted Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo in an attempt to prevent others in the U.S. from using it. How could anyone believe that it is ethically, morally, or legally permissible to take the name of the Nakamura family historic martial art and copyright it and or trademark it? It says a lot about this individual. When Grandmaster Takedo Nakamura became aware of all this was happening in the United States, he was not pleased. Sensei Odo's era is over. The Marine students he taught in the 60s and 70s are gone or nearing their end. The American karate organizations he endorsed are gone or rapidly fading. Those who had obtained respectability through their association with Sensei Odo, now that he is gone, cannot stand on their own merit. Sensei Odo will always be honored for his skill and contribution to the Nakamura family martial art. But we've learned from his missteps, and they will not be repeated. It is a time for renewal for the Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo Karate Kobudo system, not a renewal of knowledge, practice, or organization, but a reset to the true ways of Shijiru Nakamura, a martial art that has lasted more than 500 years. So regardless of your understanding of Okinawa Kenpo or your martial arts affiliation, if you wish to study Shijiru Nakamura's way, join me in this journey of renewal, and we'll experience 500 years of Okinawan martial arts history together as we explore its depths. So this concludes my historical account of Nakamura Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo. I provided this sometimes disturbing explanation for three reasons. First, for those of you who are interested in learning Okinawa Kenpo Karate and Kobudo, you now have enough knowledge to effectively evaluate the validity of potential dojos. Second, for those who are currently training under a purported Okinawa Kenpo sensei, now you have the information necessary to evaluate your sensei's background and credentials. Last but not least, those of you who study under a style of karate or a different, should I say, another style of karate or a different martial art, you have gained an understanding of the birth and purpose of ancient Okinawan karate. Further, by learning how Okinawan karate migrated to the U.S., it will help you understand why and how it evolved into an American karate. The topic for the next series of this historical video, of our historical videos, will be an explanation of our kata, not the moves, but the how and the why they were developed. Thank you for watching. Train hard. I'll see you with the next video.